Am I the asshole for refusing to reimburse my friend for a chair that broke under me? Context: I went to a game night with about 6 friends. Everyone brought food and drinks, and we were having a good time. Halfway through the night, I got up to use the bathroom, and when I came back, someone had moved into my spot on the couch. No big deal, so I sat in this antique wooden chair with cushions. The second I sat down, the chair completely broke, sending me to the ground with the seat under me and the arms falling to the side. I was super embarrassed, but I wasn't hurt. Everyone rushed to help me. My friend was very nice about it at the time and told me not to worry. Her boyfriend even said the chair had fallen apart before, but he'd managed to repair it. After that, I went back to the couch and we continued game night. The next morning, I got a text from my friend saying the chair couldn't be repaired this time and that it would cost about $250 to replace. I was shocked and asked why I should be responsible when the chair was old and faulty. She insisted it wasn't the usual problem with the frame, but that I had bent and broken the supports because of my weight. She even said I was her biggest friend, and that this wouldn't have happened to anyone else. I told her if the chair was that fragile and valuable, they shouldn't have had it out for people to sit in. I don't think I should pay $250 for sitting in it for 1 second. Now some friends think I should just pay to keep the peace, while others agree that she's wrong for asking. Reddit's verdict: people said, I'm not the asshole. The chair was already fragile, had collapsed before, and they shouldn't have offered it if it was so precious. Asking me to pay, and especially bringing up my weight, was unreasonable. Am I the asshole for telling my husband he doesn't get to decide what I do with my body? For context, I've been married to my husband for about 5 years. Our relationship is generally good, but lately we've been clashing over something I feel is basic common sense. My body, my decision. The most recent fight started when I mentioned possibly going back on birth control. He immediately said he didn't like how it changes my hormones and that he'd prefer if I stayed off it. I told him I respect his opinion, but at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to deal with the side effects of not being on anything. The cramps, the stress, and the constant anxiety about possible pregnancy scares. When I told him, look, it's my body, and I'm the one who has to manage it, not you, he got defensive and accused me of not caring about his feelings. I do care, he's my husband, but I don't think it's fair for him to think he gets the final say in decisions that directly affect my health. This isn't just about birth control either. He's also made comments before when I cut my hair short, or when I considered getting a tattoo. Nothing extreme, but enough for me to notice a pattern. I finally told him directly, you don't have the right to tell me what to do with my body. He called that disrespectful. Now I'm wondering if I was too blunt, or if I just set a boundary that needed to be set. Reddit says, the majority said not the asshole. Setting boundaries about your own body is not disrespectful. It's necessary. Your husband is allowed to have opinions, but not control. His pattern of trying to dictate choices about your body is concerning, and Reddit agreed you were right to stand your ground.
Am I the asshole for refusing to let my sister borrow $15,000 from my inheritance to pay for her dream wedding? For context, my dad passed away 3 years ago and left both me and my sister a portion of his estate. He was very intentional with the division. My sister got his mortgage-free house because she lived with him and cared for him toward the end, while I got a lump sum of $50,000 since I had already moved out and was renting. I used my inheritance responsibly. I paid off a chunk of my student loans, built an emergency fund, and started saving for a down payment on a house. My sister, however, has always been reckless with money. She works, but she spends constantly on trips, luxury items, and new cars. She got engaged last year and is planning a huge $60,000 wedding with a fancy venue, custom dress, and an open bar for 300 guests. She asked me if she could borrow $15,000 from my inheritance money because she and her fiancé are short. She promised to pay me back within a year, but I don't believe she would, given her history. I told her no. That money is for my future, not for a party. She flipped out, crying that Dad would have wanted her to have the wedding of her dreams and that I'm selfish because I've already used my money to better my life, while she hasn't. My mom sided with her, saying I should help family and that weddings are once in a lifetime. My fiancé and friends, though, think I'd be crazy to give her that much. Now my sister hasn't spoken to me in weeks and is telling family that I'm ruining her big day by hoarding money. For the record, if she needed money for something serious, like medical bills or an emergency, I would have considered it, but not for a luxury wedding. The majority on Reddit says the consensus was not the asshole. The inheritance was divided fairly. Your sister got a house worth far more than your $50,000, while you got cash. You are not responsible for funding her overspending or her wedding. A wedding is a choice, not a necessity, and Reddit agreed you were right to set this boundary. Am I the asshole for not changing my annual backyard party plans for my boyfriend and his kids? For context, I've been hosting an end-of-summer party with my neighbors for years. It's always the same setup. Everyone comes together, adults and kids have fun, then at some point the kids go to sleep while the adults continue outside. This year, I planned the same thing. Once my kids, 6 and 10, got tired, I would bring them inside to bed. Our home is right next to the backyard, so from the balcony I can hear and see the yard, and my kids also have a phone to call me if they need anything. After tucking them in, I'd head back outside for a while to spend time with the adults. I invited my boyfriend of 6 months and his kids, 5 and 7. He declined, saying he wasn't comfortable with his kids sleeping at my place since they'd never stayed there before. He also didn't like the idea of putting them to bed while he stayed outside, or going to bed with them while I stayed outside. I told him I completely understood and that he didn't have to come if he wasn't comfortable. But then he got upset, saying that meant he and his kids weren't actually welcome at the party because of the way I set it up. I explained that this party has run the same way for years, and I can't change the format for one guest. To me, guests can decide if the event works for them, and if not, they don't have to attend. His opinion was that I should have left the party with him and our kids when bedtime came. On top of that, during the party, I didn't call him because I wanted to focus on hosting and enjoying the evening. He was upset about that too, saying I should have made time to check in. It all blew up into a big argument. Now I'm wondering, AITA, for not changing a long-running tradition and not calling during the party to accommodate my boyfriend and his kids? The majority said not the asshole. You had a long-standing tradition, clearly explained the setup, and gave him the choice to join or not. Expecting you to change the whole event or leave your guests for him was unreasonable, especially since you respected his decision not to attend. His reaction came across as controlling and unfair, while your boundaries were reasonable.